the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2, in conjunction with Colfax High School, presents Viking Pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings boys game. And now, Viking Pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN2 studios. Rick Olson here, and tonight the 6-10 Colfax Vikings, who are 3-4 in the Dunn-St Croix Conference, are getting ready to take on the Dunn-St Croix Conference leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers, who are 13-3 overall, as well as 7-0 in the Dunn-St Croix. The Vikings are coming off a 59-50 non-conference loss to the Regis Ramblers in Eau Claire on Monday, while the Panthers are coming off a 77-49 conference win over the Boyceville Bulldogs back on Friday. Now, in tonight's edition of Viking Pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll take a quick look around at the Dunn-St Croix Conference just to see where things stand. And following that, our broadcast crew will bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So it's time to get ready for some exciting high school boys basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame, where we're getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's game with a Dunn-St Croix Conference matchup between the conference-leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers and the Colfax Vikings. The 6-10 Vikings, who are 3-4 in the Dunn-St Croix, are hoping to bounce back following their 59-50 non-conference loss to the Regis Ramblers on Monday. The Panthers, who are 13-2 overall, as well as 7-0 in the Dunn-St Croix, are hoping to keep their conference record unblemished. Now, in the Vikings' effort against Regis, the Vikings were led in scoring by 5'9" senior Elijah Ensminger, who's hit on 7 of 16 field goal attempts, including 4 three-pointers, and went 2 for 2 from the free throw line for 20 points. Now, he was followed by 5'11" junior Aiden Fisher, who hit 5 for 14 from the floor, including a three-pointer for 19 points. Blake Johnson contributed by going 3 for 7 from the floor, including a three-pointer for 7 points. Now, on the boards, leading the way for the Vikings was Fisher, who grabbed 9 rebounds. He was assisted by Ensminger, who pulled down 6. Now, the conference leading at 7-0, Durand-Arkansaw Panthers are coming off a 77-49 win over the Boyceville Bulldogs last Friday. Now, leading the way for the Panthers in that game was 6'6" senior Ethan Hurlbert, who scored on 7 of 11 field goals, including 2 three-pointers for 16 points. Now, he was followed by 5'10" junior Parker Olmstead, who hit 5 of 9 field goals, including 2 from three-point land, and made his only free throw attempt for 13 points. Freshman Luke Weber also scored in double digits by adding 12 points. Now, the leading rebounders for the Panthers were Hurlbert and 6'6" junior Dane Bates, who each grabbed 8 boards. Now, so far on this season, the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers have shown that they can score from anywhere on the floor. Leading the way for the Panthers is Hurlbert, who's shooting 45% from the floor, including 30% from beyond the three-point arch, and 69% from the free throw line, while averaging nearly 16 points per game. Now, Hurlbert is followed by Olmstead, who's hitting on 42% from the floor, including 23% from three-point land, as well as 76% from the free throw line, while averaging 13 points per game. Hurlburt also leads the Panthers on the boards by pulling down over 8 rebounds per game, while Bates also contributes by grabbing over 7.5 per game. Now, thus far on this season, the Vikings are being led in scoring by Ensminger, who's averaging over 17 points per game. Aiden Fisher is also scoring in the double digits with an average of nearly 15.5 points per game. Mason Yarrington and Eli Ralph are also contributing nearly 5.5 points per game. Leading the way rebounding for the Vikings is Fisher, who's grabbing over 6 boards per game, with Eli Ralph and Orion Nichols grabbing, well, right around 4 each. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective as we chat with Viking head coach Mark Knoll on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
Here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Your family is your legacy. Planning for a natural disaster will make sure you're all safe. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Once again on Coach's Corner, we're talking with Viking boys head coach Mark Knoll. And Coach, back on Monday, the Vikings dug themselves quite a hole before scrapping their way back to at least being in the game before bowing out to the Regis Ramblers 59-50. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, Regis is a good team, and I knew that going in, and they have a little bit of everything. They have good size, they have good guards, they can shoot it. And that was the thing. They started off the game just shooting the three-pointer really well right away. And that kind of dug us a hole, and we were down 16 at halftime. And we talked about how, there's not a 16-point play, but we got to chip our way back into it. And with 5 minutes left, we wanted to be down 5. And we missed 2 shots to make that happen around 5:30 and 5:45. Where that would have cut it to 5. So we cut it to 8. We just couldn't get lower than that. We ended up losing by 9.
Well, in that game, the Vikings, who contributed to the scoring, did a pretty respectable job. However, several Vikings simply aren't getting shots. In fact, of the players not scoring, they only managed to have 3 attempts from the floor. What can be done, if anything, to get them more active in the scoring scene?
There's to be honest with you, there's nothing that they can do other than just keep working, keep playing, and look for their shots when they come. We also want our best shooters to shoot the ball, because we're going to go with the higher percentage people that show that consistency every day that can make shots. But at the same time, when people are open, they have the freedom to shoot the ball. I've never told a kid not to shoot it.
Great. Yeah, to me, I can't understand the coaches that do that. It just doesn't make sense. You put the ball in the hole, it puts points on the board. This is a good thing, and if you've got an open shot, take it. So tonight, the Vikings are going to get back into Dunn-St. Croix Conference play, and what a big step tonight's match is, because you've got your opponent tonight is the conference-leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. What can you tell us about the Panthers?
Well, obviously they're really good in the fact that they have everything that you need. They have great size. They have great guards. They've got they got a lot of experience back from last year. They can shoot the 3. They can post you up. So they do a little bit of everything really well. And so we're going to have to be at our best to make this a competitive game tonight. And do I think we're capable of that? Yes, I do. I think we're very capable of doing that. But we've got to play Very disciplined basketball. We got to take care of the basketball. We've got to make our open shots, and I need to have other people step up.
Now, the Panthers and the Vikings did face each other back on December 7th, with the Panthers coming out on top 55-32. What do you look for that might be different in this game?
Well, last game we didn't show up until the second half, so if we can show up the entire game, that'd be nice. So, and no disrespect to Durand, they're obviously a very good team, but we did not give them a game last game, and that was on us. We did not play well, and that was early in the season. And at that time, we might have been a little bit more shaky with our confidence, and I feel like we've grown quite a bit since then. And I know they have as well, but I'm hoping that we can show our improvement tonight.
Now, the last time these two teams met, the Vikings did a decent job at keeping Ethan Hurlbert under control. He's going to score his points, but you kept him under control. However, Parker Almstead caused problems for the Vikings with 16 points. What adjustments can you make, or do you just want to stay with the flow?
Well, obviously, Almstead's their second leading scorer. Hurlbert's their number one scorer. And then Bates is their third leading scorer. And with Almstead, you have to contain him. You can't let him get to the rim. He's kind of like Elijah Insminger, that he can shoot that pull-up jumper really well. And so you got to be able to contest those shots and just not let him get open ones, and that will help quite a bit.
Well, it looks like it's going to be quite an exciting game tonight. Coach Noel, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings can knock off those conference leaders.
Thank you very much. Go Vikings.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Viking Pregame as we're getting ready to bring you tonight's Dunn-St. Croix Conference game, pitting the Colfax Vikings against the conference-leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. Now, before we get to tonight's game, it would be a good idea to take a look around the Dunn-St. Croix Conference to see where things stand. 4 conference teams were involved in non-conference play last Monday. Those included the Colfax Vikings being defeated by the Regis Ramblers 59-50, while the Fall Creek Crickets topped the Mondovi Buffaloes 70-36. The Boyceville Bulldogs picked up a victory over the Oliva Strum Cardinals 64-39, and the Bloomer Blackhawks squeaked by the Elk Mound Mounders 46-45. Going into tonight's games, the Dunn-St. Croix Conference standings are as follows. In first place with a 7-0 record are the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. The Spring Valley Cardinals are 1 game back in second place with a 6-1 record. In third place at 6-2 and 1.5 games behind are the Elk Mound Mounders. In fourth place are the Colfax Vikings with a 3-4 record and 4 games behind the leaders. And in fifth place we find the Boyceville Bulldogs at 3-5, 4.5 games back. The Glenwood City Hilltoppers at 2-5 occupy 6th place, and tied for 7th place at 1-6 and 6 games out are the Mondovi Buffaloes and the Elmwood Plum City Wolves. Now tonight the Dunn-St. Croix Conference has a full slate of conference action. In addition to the Vikings taking on the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers, the Elk Mound Mounders are set to do battle with the Mondovi Buffaloes in Elk Mound, while the Boyceville Bulldogs will play host to the Spring Valley Cardinals, and the Glenwood City Hilltoppers will travel to the Elmwood Plum City Wolves in Plum City. Tonight, the Vikings will try to pull all their skills together, including their recent strong play, as they prepare to face the Dunn-St. Croix Conference leading Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. Now, earlier this season, the Panthers topped the Vikings in Durand 55-32 back on December 7th. The Vikings would very much like to turn the tables on the Panthers, but it will take every bit of skill and effort the Vikings have, as the Panthers have proven to be a tough out. So the stage is set for some exciting boys high school basketball, and we'll have all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Now, in just a moment, we'll send it out to our broadcast crew at Colfax High School, as we will bring you all the action of tonight's Dunn-St. Croix Conference battle between the Colfax Vikings and the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because I felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine, but if you're not, it's okay.
Thank you.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
You've been tuned to Viking Pregame with a look at today's Colfax Viking Boys game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball. It happens to everyone eventually. Your computer goes on the fritz. Fear not, Sladen's Technology Services can help. When your computer decides to not cooperate, it can be very frustrating. Let Sladen's Technology Services keep you from wanting to drive your computer right off a cliff. Sladen's Technology Services supports business of all sizes. They offer assistance with managed anti-malware, encrypted email, fast tech support, data backup, and recovery, and more. Call Sladen's Technology Services at 715-864-2833 and get the IT help you desire. Sladen's Technology Services is the official IT service for the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Colfax Viking Boys Basketball is on the air.
He'll pass it out to Blake Johnson. He'll take the shot for three. Vikings.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network, along with NLWN2, is excited to bring you Colfax High School Boys Basketball.
Swinger down inside to Hoffman. He'll drive the right side of the lane, pop it up from 6. Good.
Join us as we follow the Vikings while they battle their way through the Dunn-St. Croix Conference.
Charlo out to Ensminger for 3. He hits it!
And now out to the gym for today's Colfax Viking basketball.
Good evening and welcome to Colfax High School. The round of rematches starts tonight in the Dunn-St. Croix. And the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers are here for the first rematch game of the conference with the Colfax Vikings. Vikings are 4th place in the DSC with 3 wins and 4 losses in the league. They are 6-10 overall. They're riding a 2-game winning streak. The Durand-Arkansaw Panthers are 7-0 in the conference, and the conference leader, they're 13-2 on the season, and they are on a 7-game winning streak that the Vikings hope to put a dent in tonight. I'm Jay Fall here with Rick Olson and Chris Olson operating our camera. Tonight's Colfax Viking basketball game is brought to you by the Colfax Animal Hospital at Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their family take care of your pet. C&K Construction, your concrete experts for the Chippewa Valley. Dairy State Bank, where they're banking on relationships. Midwest Environmental Consultants, soil testers for Western Wisconsin. Anderson Bridges, who've been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. Sladen's Technology IT provider for the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Menominee Eye and Optical with quality personalized care for you and your family. And Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Comfort Food the way Mom used to make it. Be sure to thank these fine sponsors by doing business with them soon and for bringing you Colfax Viking Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
That's all right. I leave letters out every now and then, too.
Hey, Jay, well, we have a chance here. Let's take a quick look at who's going to be playing in tonight's game. Taking a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers, they have a 5'10 junior guard, Parker Almstead, then a 5'9 senior guard, Blake Seiler, 6'3 senior forward, Grady Hayden, a 6'6 senior forward, and the pain in the Vikings side for a number of years, Ethan Hurlburt, along with a 6'6 junior center, Dane Bates. And Hurlburt and Bates create quite the presence under the basket. For the Vikings, it'll be 5'11 junior guard Aiden Fisher, along with 5'9 senior guard Elijah Ensminger, 5'10 senior guard Mason Yarrington, and 6' senior guard Blake Johnson, along with 6'3 senior forward Eli Ralph. It tells you again, the Vikings are looking to play that perimeter game and penetrate off the perimeter because they're outsized by Durand, and that's about what they have to do to make things happen.
Yeah, and I think another thing that will help is if they can get the game up tempo, that helps a lot because their best outings recently have been when they've done that. So this will be an interesting one as we start the second set of conference games, the Colfax Vikings and the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. We'll be back with more pregame and the tip-off coming up. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Dairy State Bank encourages you to save smarter for your retirement by maximizing possible tax advantages. We offer traditional, Roth, and rollover IRAs with a wide variety of investment options. It's not too late to invest up to $6,500 of possible tax-deferred earnings into an IRA for 2023 tax purposes, or $7,500 if you're 50 or better. Call or stop by for more information. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Austin and Nikki Pritchard are just what the doctor ordered. In fact, they are the doctors and they're ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
When you have that craving for a home-cooked meal the way Mom used to make it, rest assured, you can still get that meal by going to Mom's Restaurant and Pub in Colfax. Mom's is open daily, serving breakfast and lunch, and don't forget dinner on Friday nights with Mom's famous fish fry. The coffee is always hot, the breakfast is always delicious, and lunch will put a smile on your face and in your stomach. 225 Bremer Avenue, Colfax. Call 715-962-4617. That's Mom's.
Welcome back to Colfax. Tonight, the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers here to face the Vikings. Both teams off on the side now. We will tell you that the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers are in purple with, well, actually, yeah, that's pretty dark purple with white trim and numerals. The Vikings will be in a home white with red trim and numerals coming up. The Viking dance team is going to compete on Saturday at their regional meet at D.C. Everest High School in Schofield. We wish them the best as they head over east for that. So the Panthers undefeated in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference, 7-0. Vikings fourth place, 3 wins and 4 losses in the conference. So this is the second meeting of the second half of the season here as the Vikings.
Wait a minute, I have to get out extra fingers and toes. The first, second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, let's send it down to Mike Hotel and the public address announcer.
Please stand at table, remove your hats, and place your hand over your heart to honor the flag. As the national anthem was played by the Colfax High School Pep Band. Welcome to Colfax High School for tonight's Dunn-St. Croix Boys Basketball matchup between the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers and your Colfax Vikings. Introducing the starters for the Panthers, number 3 junior, Parker Olmstead. Number 5 senior, Blake Saylor. Number 22 senior, Grady Hayden. Number 24 senior, Ethan Herbert. And number 25 junior, Dave Bass. Panthers and linebacker coach Justin Letsky. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings.
Welcome back. And Colfax youth players here helping to bring in the Colfax Viking starters and put Mark and the team a lot closer than he normally is to us.
Yeah, there was a big line out there tonight for these guys to run through.
So the future of the Colfax program out there.
And you could see an awful lot of smiles on the varsity Vikings as they came out, as they kind of got a kick out of getting the high fives from all those youngsters.
You bet. So Durand is moving right to left as you look on here from the balcony away from the scores table at Colfax High School. Eli Ralph jumping up for the Vikings, and tip controlled by the Panthers, Grady Hayden. Hayden will give and go to Parker Olmstead, and he'll pass to Blake Seiler. Top of the key, down underneath. Hayden breaks open, misses the shot. Ralph comes up with a loose ball with help from Aiden Fisher, and the Vikings will set it up. No score. We're 20 seconds in to the first half. Ensminger back and forth then with Yarrington off on the left wing, far side. Back over near side to Fisher. Fisher inside to Ensminger, up from 12, good! Vikings 2, Panthers nothing. And full court pressure on the Panthers. So they bring the ball up the floor. It's Grady Hayden. Hayden being guarded by Johnson, and Seiler makes a nice recovery. Top of the key, I don't know if he was doing a pass or a shot. Either way, it went right below the rim and out of bounds. So the Vikings get it back.
It was kind of halfway between one and the other.
Yeah. Yarrington gets the inbounds pass. Now pressure by the Panthers. They give it to Johnson, out to Ensminger. Ensminger free throw line left. Good motion, gets it back over on the right side to Fisher, back to Yarrington, opposite side in the middle to Ensminger. He'll take a look. They double up on him, and he passes over to Fisher. Fisher down to Johnson, near corner. Out to Fisher. Ensminger directing traffic on the right side, fires it over to Yarrington. 2-3 zone in effect for the Panthers. Yarrington will get it back from Johnson. He'll look. Fired back to Blake. Out to Yarrington, looks. They keep it on the left side. They're going to see if they can move it over on the other side to Fisher. Back in the middle over to Yarrington. Johnson and Yarrington back and forth. Over on the left side into Ensminger. Ensminger pops it up from 10. Bounces out. Yarrington there with a rebound. Yarrington out on top to Fisher. Vikings will set it up again. 15:45 remaining first half. Colfax 2, Durand-Arkansaw nothing. And up from the free throw line, that's Aiden Fisher. Shot rolls off. Rebounded by Dane Bates of the Panthers. Parker Olmstead will bring it up. He'll fire free throw line right to Hurlbert. Out to Hayden. And stolen away by Aiden Fisher. The Vikings lay up good. 4-0 Colfax, 15 left, first half. Blake Seiler driving in, and he'll shove a pass out to the right and then out for three. Ethan Hurlbert tightens things up with a good shot. 4-3 Colfax, 15 minutes to go, first half. Yarrington with a high pass down in the corner to Ensminger. He'll toss it back to Johnson. To Fisher between the jump circle and the wheel, and then back over to Yarrington. Free throw line extended right. Yarrington will dribble it once into Johnson. Outside to Fisher. Rolls off. No good. Rebounded by Hurlbert. Or check that. Grady Hayden. Out on the left side, Seiler. Olmstead and he'll dump it inside, and the layup is good by Dane Bates. 5-4 Durand, 14-18 to go first half. Fisher down to Yarrington. He's open for a three shot, misses, rolls off, but it's rebounded by Blake Johnson. Reload falls short. Fight for the rebound. It's tipped back in to Hurlbert. For the Panthers, quickly up the floor, they leave Bates open, and he puts a layup in. 7-4 Durand. As Ensminger has it under the basket, Durand basket. He'll give it to Fisher. He'll break that pressure by passing it to Yarrington. Here, the Viking at the right wing. He'll dribble it over to the left side. Over to Fisher, back to Yarrington. Fisher and Yarrington back and forth again, this time more in the middle. Yarrington, free throw line right, looks, decides he'll keep it. Dribbles it out on top, Fisher. Durand in a 2-3 zone. Bounce over to Fisher, down in the far corner to Johnson. Johnson, kind of a shot pass back to Fisher. He'll give it to Johnson. Back to Fisher. Yarrington up for three again. Oh, that one hit the window and hit the iron, but then rebound came out and they sent it back to Yarrington. Johnson trying to get it inside to Ralph. Ball gets loose. Durand comes up with it.
I hope those youth players that were watching on that shot by Yarrington, how he followed his shot. I don't know how many times coaches have to tell kids that, but he followed his shot. He got the rebound.
And Durand puts it up and in. Dane Bates down on the right baseline. It's now Durand 9, Colfax 4, 12-22 to go first half.
6 points for Dane Bates.
Pass goes to Yarrington. Yarrington and Ensminger. Back to Ensminger. He's in the corner of the lane. Drives out a little bit. 15-footer's good. Colfax closes the gap. Durand leads by 3, 9-6. Approaching 12 minutes left. Driving is Parker Olmstead. He can't get a shot off now. The loose ball is picked up by Aiden Fisher. Fisher drives down, pops it up from 15, bounces off the back iron into the hands of Ethan Hurlburt of the Panthers. Up the floor and a layup on the left side, Grady Hayden. 11-6 Durand in front of Colfax. 11:36 to go, first half. Ensminger to Fisher. Fisher up high on the left side, back and forth. Now Johnson will come to help him out. Johnson to Ensminger, down on the baseline to Ralph. Out on top to Yarrington. Dribbled it a couple of times. Ensminger for three. Colfax trails by 2 now, 11-9.
That's 7 points for Ensminger.
Here the free throw line, Olmstead looking to throw, goes to Seiler, back to Olmstead. Or now that is Hurlburt. Back to Hayden. Hayden up high in the left wing. Durand facing a man-to-man from Colfax. Down on the baseline, that shot in and out for Dane Bates. And Elijah Ensminger will bring up the ball for the Vikings. To Johnson from Fisher, back to Fisher. Out in the far corner to Yarrington, back up to Johnson, top of the key. To Elijah, back over to Johnson. Free throw line right. He'll bring it back in the middle. Aiden Fisher will bounce it in to Eli Ralph. Ralph waits, puts it up around the rim and out. Oh. Dane Bates with the rebound. He fires it up the floor to Blake Seiler. Seiler on the baseline. And we're going to have our first foul of tonight's game. That is going to be charged to Mason Yarrington. 10:14 remaining. First half. It is Durand 11. Colfax 9. Jay Fall here with Rick Olson. Chris Olson running the camera tonight. Dunn-St. Croix matchup from Colfax. First shot missed. And we'll have some substitutions. Join NLWN TV along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network. Tomorrow night as the Viking girls will travel to Spring Valley to take on the Cardinals in a Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls tomorrow night at Spring Valley on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Still 11-9.
They must have waved off that second free throw because it went through the hole, but...
Yeah, I think that lane violation. Back in, Blake Johnson. Johnson gets the pass from Fisher. One-headed pass over to Ensminger, and Ensminger zigged when Johnson expected him to zag. Durand with the ball in front of their bench. They'll bring it out. Parker Olmstead. Olmstead out to Luke Weber now into the game for the Panthers. Out on top to Max Anderson. He's also a non-starter coming in to give one of the starters a breather. Ethan Hurlburt gets a ball pass in the corner to Billy Weisenbeck. Misses the shot. Reload missed. Rebounded by Colfax's Aiden Fisher.
And Jay, they did count that free throw because it's 12-9 now.
Oh, okay.
They were just a little slow on the scoreboard.
Ah, okay. Pass goes over to Yarrington on the right wing. Yarrington fires it over to Ensminger. He'll take a three-pointer. Good!
And just like that, we're tied.
Yeah. Tied at 12. 9 minutes left first half. Out on the near side, Luke Weber. Weber lets it go corner of the lane, missed, and it's rebounded by Logan Schwartz. He'll pass it to Yarrington. Yarrington to Fisher. Fisher, three-pointer, just misses, and it's rebounded by Durand's Billy Weisenbeck, although Logan Schwartz tried to get in there. Couldn't quite grab it. Parker Olmstead. Give and go to Luke Weber. Weber, pass to an open Weisenbeck. And the pass tipped by Fisher into the hands of Yarrington. Now up the floor to Ensminger. He's open, tries a reverse layup, and he is fouled on the way in. And Elijah Ensminger is going to go to the line for two.
That follows on Billy Weisenbach. His first team foul.
And Elijah Ensminger gets 2 free throws on that shot attempt. First one's good. Join NLWN2 along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network on Tuesday night, January 30th, as the Viking boys host the Boyceville Bulldogs in a Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:40. That'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax Viking Boys Basketball Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2 and Viking TV. And we will have a foul underneath. That's going to be charged to Aiden Fisher. Second free throw is good. So right now the Vikings have a 2-point lead, 14-12. Max Anderson, a sophomore on the line, makes free throw number 1. And the second, that one's good as well. We're tied at 14. 8:13 to go first half.
Panthers are currently 3 for 4 from the line.
Across the timeline. Vikings with the ball. Ensminger, free throw line right. Going to drive. Gets it out to Theo Huffy. Down in the corner to Fisher for 3. Colfax 17. Durand 14. Ball goes up the floor to Weisenbach. Weisenbach inside to Hurlburt. Hurlburt trying to go up and in. Rolls out. Scurry for the ball. And it's saved by Colfax to Logan Schwartz.
That was Anderson under the basket that time. It's hard to tell the difference between 24 and 34 with their color scheme and everything.
Ensminger, 14-footer, good! And we have a timeout on the floor. And I believe that was called by Durand. 7:18 to go, first half. Colfax 19. Durand 14.
If your estate isn't looking quite estate-like, let Midwest Environmental Consultants landscape your estate right up to snuff with installation of retaining walls, brick patios, foundation planting beds, and so much more. Then they'll keep it that way with their expert lawn care service. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants help make your estate the showplace of the neighborhood.
Welcome back in the JV game tonight. It was Durand beating Colfax 57-37. Right now, and the varsity boys have a 5-point lead, 19-14.
And to help get that 5-point lead, Elijah Ensminger is currently sitting with 14 points on the night.
Durand with the ball. Hurlburt outside the jump circle fires to Ethan Mack. Or no, check that. That's Luke Weber. Back in the middle to Hayden. Hayden out to Armstead. Armstead drives around a couple of Vikings and swishes it in for 3. So it's 19-17. Vikings by 2, 6:50 remaining first half. Driving the right side, Ensminger up from 14. Good! Durand quickly up the floor. Olmstead up high on the left side, drives around the screen set by Weber. Then he'll flip the ball back to Hurlburt. Hurlburt up on the right side to Weber. Back in the middle to Hayden. Hayden free throw line left to Hurlburt with a pass. Hurlburt having trouble finding somebody to go to, finds Dane Bates. He'll dribble it once and fire it back out on top to Mack. Mack out to Hurlburt. To Hayden. Hayden driving in on the right side, fires a pass out to Hurlburt. 3-pointer from the sideline missed. Rebounded by Ensminger. 5:55 to go first half. And Colfax trying an up-tempo game. That seems to be working as they lead 21-17. And Ensminger up from the corner. 15-footer rolls out, missed. Rebounded by Dane Bates. Bates to Parker Olmstead will bring it up. Nice and easy. He's being guarded by Theo Hubby. One-handed pass goes out to Hurlburt, down underneath to Bates. Bates on the baseline, puts in 2. Closes the gap. Viking lead cut to 2, 21-19 over Durand.
8 points now for Dane Bates.
And pass goes in the corner to Nichols. Nichols in the middle to Ralph. Ralph shot missed, rebounded by Huffney. Back outside, Fisher. Fisher drives in, good! 5 minutes to go, first half, 23-19 Colfax. Taking on conference leading Durand-Arkansaw here tonight. Olmsted back out on top to Bates. And we're going to have a holding foul that is going to go against 20. That's Ryan Nichols. That's his first, Colfax's third foul of the first half. Pretty clean first half so far. 4 fouls total, 4:46 to go first half.
Nichols and Hurlburt have been physically battling down under the basket. Hurlburt's got him by size, but Nichols is not giving an inch. Although he's on the bench now, but he wasn't giving an inch.
Hurlburt back up in the middle to Weber. Outside on the right wing back to Olmsted. Now they fire it down on the baseline, and that shot is blocked from Luke Weber, and coming up with a rebound, Aiden Fisher. He gives to Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger to Fisher. Fisher from the free throw line. Good! 25 for Colfax. 19 for Durand-Arkansaw. Just under 4 minutes to go first half. Pass goes inside to Bates.
Looks like a foul on Eli Ralph.
Yep. So that's his first. Colfax's fourth foul of the half.
Logan Schwartz in for Ralph.
Blake Seiler in for Luke Weber for Durand. Ball slapped by Hurlburt. He puts it right in to Max Anderson, who puts in a layup on the left side. Colfax still leading by 4. Ensminger up high in the right wing. Directs traffic, dribbles it back into the middle, looking for somebody to go to. They've got Fisher covered in the corner pretty well. He comes out, gets the pass, drives a screen by Schwartz, and he drives in and draws a foul from one of the Panthers. It's going to go against Dane Bates, and that'll put Aiden Fisher on the line. Tomorrow night, NLWN TV, girls at Spring Valley. 6:40 Viking pregame, followed by a live play-by-play after that. First free throw's good. It's Colfax girls tomorrow night. Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second free throw good.
That's only the second foul on Durand-Arkansaw tonight.
Parker Olmsted fires off to Dane Bates. Down in the corner, having to stretch for it is Weber. He'll fire it back out to Seiler. Down underneath, left open for a short jump shot, Dane Bates.
Bates has 10.
Approaching 3 minutes to go first half. Durand with a 4-point, or trailing Colfax by 4. It's 27-23 Colfax. Ensminger, another three-pointer. No good, rebounded by Max Anderson. Quickly up the floor to an open Blake Seiler. He puts in a layup, and it's now a 2-point Colfax lead, 27-25. And Colfax wants to talk about it. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Anderson Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings.
Welcome back. Logan Schwartz is the Viking profile player tonight. At halftime, we invite you to stay tuned for that. It's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds of playing time away. Johnson driving out. They double up on him. Get a pass to Fisher. Fisher driving on the right side, puts it up from 10, rolls around, no good. Schwartz fighting for it, pulling it down, Max Anderson. Up the floor goes to Bates. Bates trying to get a layup, miss, rebounded, and coming out of the backcourt with it is Yerington. Yerington to Fisher. Fisher driving in front of the Durand bench, give and go to Johnson. Johnson to Yerington. To Ensminger. 2 minutes to go, first half. Give and go to Fisher. Give and go to Johnson. Three-point shot. Bounces around a lot and went everywhere but inside the basket. Olmsted with the ball for the Panthers.
It's kind of like when you go to a hotel you're not sure about, you drive around the parking lot a couple times and then decide not to stay. That's what that ball just did.
Yep. 1:38 to go, first half. Colfax 27, Durand-Arkansaw 25, throwing it in. Ethan Hurlbert underneath the basket, and he finds Max Anderson, who puts it in, and we're tied at 27 with a minute and a half to go in the first half.
By the way, while I was driving around that hotel parking lot, there was a foul on Blake Johnson.
Ensminger directing traffic up high on the left side. Ensminger to Fisher. Fisher at the free throw line, gets it back to Ensminger. Ensminger waits, pops it up from 14. Comes out, rebounded by Max Anderson. So Parker Olmsted. 1 minute left, first half. Free throw line left, it goes to Dane Bates. Out on the near side, Max Anderson puts it in from three, and the Panthers go up 30-27 over Colfax. Blake Johnson with the ball, trying to get rid of it, and Mark Knoll takes a timeout for the Vikings. 41.6 seconds remaining first half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 are excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School Boys Basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season.
This is what we came in for!
Our next game will be on Tuesday, January 30th, when the Vikings will host the Boyceville Bulldogs. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN2 begins with Viking Pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2 on Tuesday, January 30th.
Hope you'll join us for that next conference contest. For the boys, they're in the midst of a battle here tonight. 41.6 seconds to go, first half. Colfax with the ball after the 30-second timeout. Blake Johnson's going to throw it in. To Elijah Ensminger. Ensminger doubled up on. They fired Aiden Fisher. Fisher's up high in the left wing, half minute to go. Fisher top of the key, back to Ensminger. Ensminger looking around. Ensminger fires to Johnson. And then Ensminger comes to take it back. Ensminger on the right side, driving, has the ball knocked down as he goes up for the layup. Parker Olmsted, top of the key, on the buzzer. No good. And at the end of the first half, the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers lead the Colfax Vikings by 3, 30-27. We invite you now to stay tuned for Viking halftime coming up next on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Soon the weather will change and you'll be able to breathe in the clean, fresh air of spring. And you know what comes right along with that. That's right, it will be time for Eau Claire Cavalier Baseball. Follow the Cavaliers all season long right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and NLWN TV. Be sure to check out our website at www.northernlightwebcastingnetwork.com for our current broadcast schedule.
Time now for Viking Halftime, with today's Viking profile and other halftime entertainment. That's coming up right after this.
Hey, boss. Okay.
I said I'm fine.
Me the bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really hard for you.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Logan Swartz, a junior here at Colfax High School. And Logan, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities here at school?
Yes, I'm involved with cross country and track.
Okay, and how'd the cross country season go for you?
Pretty good. I started off running better than I usually do and got a PR by the end of the year, so that was nice.
There you go. There you go. PRs are always fun to see. When did you start playing basketball, and what kind of an experience has that been for you?
I started back in 4th grade, and I have no regrets. So.
Okay, what's the most important thing that you've learned playing basketball?
Discipline, definitely.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that keep you interested or occupied?
Just sitting around at home, kind of relaxing whenever I can, just with sports all week, and then a weekend to.
You need to chill a little.
Yep, just a little bit.
Okay, got some rapid fire questions for you. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cake.
Cake, what kind?
Vanilla.
Okay. Any particular frosting on that, or?
No.
Just a vanilla cake.
Yep.
All right. Hot dog, burger, or brats?
Burger.
What do you want on that burger?
Mustard and ketchup.
Just a basic burger?
Yep.
Okay. Favorite color?
Green.
Is there a reason for that?
No, not in particular.
Just like green?
Yep.
Okay. So if you could have a superpower, what do you think that might be?
Strength.
Super strength, okay. Now, if you have super strength for a superpower, of course you have to have a superhero name to go with that. So what's Logan's superhero name?
Mountain.
Mountain. Okay. Look out, here comes Mountain. All right. Favorite NBA team?
Bucks.
Okay, how about collegiate team?
I don't really have one.
Don't really have one. Okay. Is there a basketball player who has inspired the way you play your game? That can either be from the pros, through college, through high school, anything.
The Greek freak, Giannis.
Giannis? Okay, he plays a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're talking with Logan Swartz today on Viking Profile. And Logan, what are your plans for after high school?
Not 100% sure, but we'll kind of see how it goes.
Okay. All right. You still got time to make decisions about that. How about a shout out to the family?
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
All right. When people come to Viking games, where are they going to find you on the floor? As if I couldn't tell just from this.
Number 44, hopefully.
And under the hoop?
Yep.
Pretty much down in the paint, making
dunking
things
on
happen.
Everybody. Hopefully dunking on everybody.
There we go. We want to thank Logan Swartz for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next, more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You've been tuned to Viking Halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Halftime, Durand-Arkansaw Panthers 30, the Colfax Vikings 27 in Dunn-St. Croix Conference Boys Basketball. Rick, how'd we get there?
Well, for the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers, they're being led by Dane Bates. He's hit 5 field goals for 10 points. Max Anderson has 9 points on a pair of field goals and a three-pointer and 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Parker Olmstead, Blake Seiler, and Ethan Hurlbert all have 3 points, and Grady Hayden has 2. That gives them 30. For the Vikings, the scoring's pretty simple tonight. They're being led by Elijah Ensminger, who has 4 2-pointers, 2 3-pointers, and 2 for 2 from the free throw line for 16 points. And Aiden Fisher has 3 2-pointers, a 3-pointer, and 2 for 2 from the charity stripe for 11, and that comes out to a score of 30-27 in favor of the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers.
Along with the Northern Light Webcasting Network, tomorrow night as the Viking girls travel to Spring Valley to take on the Cardinals in a Dunn-St. Croix Conference matchup. Live coverage will begin with Viking pregame beginning at 6:40, and that'll be followed by all the live play-by-play action. That's Colfax girls basketball tomorrow night at Spring Valley on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Jay Fall, Rick Olson, and Chris Olson on the camera with you from Colfax. This is a Dunn-St. Croix Conference boys matchup where the visiting Durand-Arkansaw Panthers lead the Viking boys 30-27.
And it's interesting to note some of the comments that we made before the game. Vikings were going to have to play on the outside perimeter and look for cutters and so on. That's pretty much what they've done, and it's kept them right in this game with a lead through much of the first half.
So second half, we're going the other way. Vikings will be going right to left on your screen as you look on. Of course, they're home white, red numerals and trim. Panthers going the other way in the darker uniforms, and Elijah Ensminger gets the inbound pass to start the second half. To Yarrington, out to Fisher, to Johnson, to Ralph, who's up on top, waiting for Ensminger to cut. He comes back out on top to get the pass. Ensminger comes back out near half court, right in front of the Colfax bench, waiting for Fisher to break free. He'll pass it to Yarrington, back to Ensminger. Ensminger going to the free throw line, loses the ball. Blake Seiler comes up with it, and then Elijah returns the favor, but knocks it out of bounds. 17:20 left to go, second half. Vikings trail Durand-Arkansaw 30-27. Inbounds pass goes into Olmstead. Out on top to Bates. Back in the middle to Hurlbert, and they'll try to set things up again. Seiler going on the far side to Hayden, back outside the arch. Olmstead free throw line right, gets a pass inside to Dane Bates. who puts in the layup and increases the Panthers' lead to 5, 32-27 over Colfax. Fisher up on top to Johnson. Johnson gives it back up high on the left side. Fisher dribbles across the arch to the other side. Goes around a screen set by Ralph over to Ensminger. Back out to Fisher.
Vikings showing a lot of patience.
And Yarrington, three-pointer. Off the back iron, rebounded by Durand-Bates. Up the floor goes to Seiler. Seiler drives, layup on the right side. No good, rebounded by Yarrington for Colfax. Yarrington up high on the left side, give and go to Ensminger. He's going to look at a three ball from about 20. He'll give it to Fisher and let Fisher take the three-pointer. Missed, rebounded by Bates of Durand. All the way down to the other end of the floor, and the back and forth pass picked off by Johnson. And luckily, Ralph was there and knocked it back to Ensminger, so Colfax gets to keep it. Ensminger driving on the left side, fires off to Fisher. Fisher up from 16, bounces a little bit, no good, rebounded by Olmstead for Colfax, or Durand, sorry. Olmstead up high in the center, being guarded by Ensminger. Now Fisher steps in, fire a pass out in the corner to Herbert, and he'll drive it around the arch. They'll give it to Seiler. Seiler out to Bates. To Olmstead. Caught in the corner, tripled up by the Vikings. To Hayden. Hayden to Hurlburt, top of the key, back to Hayden. Off on the right side to Bates. Bates drives in, left side, off the glass, missed, rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher brings it back up for Colfax. Fisher to Ensminger. Ensminger dumps a pass back to Yarrington, three-point attempt. Rolls off, no good. Rebounded by Hurlburt.
Going cold is not what the Vikings wanted to do to start the second half.
Hurlburt, give and go to Seiler. Seiler to Bates. Back over on the far side to Hurlburt. He dribbles it up to the jump circle. Seiler out to Hurlburt. Three-pointer bounces off. That was Hayden, sorry. And it's rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger up on the right wing. And he's fouled on the way in by Durand's Grady Hayden. First foul of the second half. Blake Johnson's going to throw it in underneath the Vikings basket on the right side. Alley-oops it out on top to the Viking on that far side to Ensminger. Back to Fisher. Fisher goes up, and he's fouled on the way up. He's going to the free throw line.
Foul will be on Hurlburt. That's his first. Second team foul on the Panthers.
So Aiden Fisher, free throw. First one doesn't go. Colfax girls at Spring Valley tomorrow night, 6:40 Viking pregame, followed by play-by-play on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second free throw goes. Colfax cuts Durand's Arkansas lead to 4, 32-28. 13:38 left, second half. Seiler out on the right side to Olmstead. Olmstead dribbles away from Ralph and feeds their big man Dane Bates, who misses the shot. And coming up with it is Blake Johnson. Johnson over to Orion Nichols. Johnson will drive in, pop it up and in. Colfax within 2 of Durand, 32-30. Across the timeline, fired out to Seiler. Seiler to Olmstead for 3, misses. And Ensminger tips it out of there. Johnson can't quite get it. Hayden will come up with it. He'll try a three-pointer, and it's rebounded by Ralph of the Vikings. Johnson, drive it in. Off the back iron, Ralph, reload. That one doesn't go. Pulled out of there by Hayden of the Panthers. 12.5 minutes to go, second half. Driving in, firing a pass out on the near side. Seiler for three. No, rebounded by Ensminger. Ensminger fires to Johnson. They trade places. He moves into the middle. Gives it to Ryan Nichols. Back to Ensminger, who brings it out to the center jump circle. Then on the right wing with 12 minutes to go, second half. To Ralph, top of the key. Ralph at the free throw line, looking to feed Ensminger. Ralph's going to take it in himself and puts in the layup. We're tied at 32, 11:40 to go, second half.
Again, really good patience being shown by the Vikings. Coach Noah was barking out directions, and they followed them, took their time, and got the points.
Eli Ralph's going to be called for his second foul of the night. That's Colfax's first foul of the second half. We're tied at 32. Colfax Vikings, Durand-Arkansaw Panthers. 11:33 left to go in the second half. Inbounds throw goes to Olmsted. Back out to Hayden. And the point scored by Max Anderson.
Yep.
Johnson across the timeline. They double up on the ball handler, out to Ensminger. Ensminger up from 15. That shot clears everything, and it's going back to the Panthers. As Schwartz took a swipe at it and couldn't get it.
He kind of looked like one of those baseball players who thought maybe he had a hole in his bat or something.
Inbounds throw goes into Parker Olmsted. He's being guarded by Theo Hovde. Olmsted runs into Schwartz and then down into and an attempt. We're going to have a player control foul on Elijah Ensminger.
Or a blocking foul.
Don't check that blocking foul, yeah. Well, that's going to send Dane Bates to the free throw line for two. 10:51 to go, second half. Durand leads by two. And then they still lead by two. Free throw doesn't go. Boys in action again Tuesday night, hosting Boyceville, 6:40 Viking pregame. Play-by-play follows on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2. Second free throw goes in. Durand up by three, 35-32. And we're going to have a 5-second violation. Durand looking to throw it in. They'll bounce it inside to Hurlbert. Outside to Olmsted. Olmsted to Weber. Now inside to Grady Hayden. Turn around, put the jumper in. Durand-Arkansaw by 5, 37-32 in the backcourt. Ensminger and Nichols. Ensminger pops it up, corner of the lane. Doesn't go, rebounded by Nichols. Nichols waits, goes up and puts it in. Durand 37, Colfax 34. Parker Olmsted driving in. We're going to have a foul called on Logan Schwartz. So to throw it in for the Panthers, Blake Seiler. He'll toss it into Ethan Hurlbert, back to Seiler, who takes it around the right side of the lane. And the pass is picked off by Theo Hovde to Aiden Fisher. Fisher loses the ball. It's knocked away by Blake Seiler. And we'll have a foul.
I think it's on Hovde.
Yep. That's his first of the game, but Colfax's fourth foul of the second half here. Driving the ball, Ethan Hurlbert. He's fouled on the way in by Ryan Nichols.
That'll be the second foul on Nichols. Nichols didn't quite agree with what the official said there, if you could read lips.
Yeah. I think I read them the same way. And everybody else did that saw that shot. Anderson out to Hayden. Or not Hayden, that's Weber. Back out to Seiler. Back to Seiler. Inside to Max Anderson. Back outside to Bates. Now Bates sets a screen. He'll get the pass back, and he traveled. 9:20 left. Second half. Durand-Arkansaw 37. Colfax 34. Logan Schwartz to Aiden Fisher. Colfax goes down to set up. Fisher gives it to Ensminger. Ensminger dribbling it back to the wing, and we are going to have a foul called. Yeah, I guess so, on Fisher.
I think it's actually on Ensminger. Well, no, they put it up on Fisher. You're right.
Up the floor to Weber, to Hurlbert for Durand. Out to Seiler. And they feed it in to Anderson. He's got to toss it back out on top. Weber. Back out to Anderson. Back out free throw line right to Ethan Hurlbert. And the ball went out of bounds off Nichols. Durand will keep it. 8:35 remaining, second half. Durand-Arkansaw by 3 over the Colfax Vikings. Out in the corner it goes to Anderson. Anderson to Seiler. Back out to Hurlbert. Three-pointer bounces off big into the hands of Theo Hovde. Hovde to Ensminger. Ensminger across the center jump circle. Ensminger fouled on the way in. That's going to be charged to Durand-Arkansaw's Blake Seiler. That is his first foul of the game. And Durand's only third foul of the second half. Colfax has 6, so next Colfax foul sends the Panthers to the free throw line. Ensminger, 20-footer, bounces off, rebounded by Olmstead. Olmstead drives it up the floor. He'll look at a 3-ball and send a pass to Hurlbert. Hurlbert up top of the key. Missed, rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher to Ensminger. Ensminger right wing. Colfax trails by 3. Back to Fisher from Schwartz. Over to Hovde, free throw line left. Back to Schwartz on the top. To Ensminger, free throw line left. Ensminger up from the free throw line, good! Vikings pulled it within 1, 37-36. 7:21 to go, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
C&K Construction is your source for high-quality concrete and construction work in the Chippewa Valley. Established in 2014, C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls is a leading concrete contractor proud to serve Eau Claire, Altoona, Menominee, and surrounding areas. Specializing in concrete construction, excavating, flatwork poured walls, and much more, they're right for all of your concrete needs. Call C&K Construction in Chippewa Falls at 715-559-1335.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining?
Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Doctors Austin and Nikki Pritchard and their staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
We've got a good Dunn-St. Croix matchup here. The Colfax Vikings trail leading Durand-Arkansaw by 1. It's 37-36. It's Parker Olmstead across the timeline up on the high on the left side. Looks toward the hoop, will give it back to Hurlbert. Out in the corner to Weber. Weber dumps it back to Hurlbert. He puts it up from 10, and it's good. 7 minutes left, second half. Durand up by 3. Ensminger fires it across the timeline to Fisher. Back to Ensminger. Ensminger to Hovde. Down free throw line left to Nichols. Up on top to Schwartz. Finds Aiden Fisher, who puts in a layup and cuts it back to 1 for Durand. 39-38. 6.5 minutes left in tonight's game.
That's 14 points on the night for Aiden Fisher.
Hayden from 20. Good. Wow. Threw that one in from the parking lot. 42-38.
I was going to say, was that even in the school district?
I don't think. Yeah, it might have been. It's in the district. Hovde between the jump circle and the key. 6 minutes left. Second half. Top of the key. Pass goes to Schwartz. Out to Hovde. To Nichols. Back into Fisher. Fisher drives up and draws a foul. So Aiden Fisher's going to the line for 2. That's the 4th team foul in Durand here in the second half. That's the second foul charged individually to Grady Hayden. First free throw's good. We'll have the Colfax girls tomorrow night at Spring Valley. 6:40 for Viking pregame. Play-by-play follows that on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. Second free throw doesn't go. Loose ball pulled down by Grady Hayden. Into Olmstead across the timeline. Olmstead out to Weber. Top of the key to Hurlbert. Down on the near side, Hurlbert driving in. Johnson right with him. And still goes over the top and puts it in. 44-39 Durand. 5:23 left second half. Johnson, free throw line right, gives it to Yarrington. To Fisher. Fisher halfway down. To Yarrington. Back to Fisher. 19-footer. Bounces up big, no, rebounded by Luke Weber. Weber driving in left side. Off the slide, puts it in on the left side. 46-39 Durand, 4:45 left second half. Johnson tries to get it back to Ensminger. It's stolen by Parker Olmstead, and he feeds it to Ethan Hurlbert, who puts in a layup. It's now 48-39. Durand leading Colfax inside 4.5 minutes left. Fisher give and go to Ensminger. Ensminger back to Johnson. And Colfax takes a timeout. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Let Menominee Eye and Optical help you see the world for the beautiful place it is. Doctors Nicholas and Marianne Comroe provide both comprehensive and emergency eye care for all, including pediatric and special needs patients. Whether it's examination for glasses to cataract and LASIK care, or diagnosis and management of macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, and so much more. In addition, Menominee Eye and Optical's experienced opticians will help guide you you to the highest quality eye care for the best value. That's Menominee Eye and Optical, located at 520 Wilson Avenue in Menominee, where they specialize in quality, personalized care for you and your family.
Welcome back to Colfax, 48-39. The Durand-Arkansaw Panthers lead the Colfax Vikings. Here at Colfax.
Basketball is a game of runs, and I think Coach Noel is trying to stop a run right now because Durand has opened up their biggest lead of the night by 9 points, and Vikings need to mount a little run of their own right now.
Vikings timeout, so they will get the ball back. Orion Nichols is going to toss it into Mason Yarrington, who goes into the backcourt and then across the timeline. Fires it to Ensminger on the right wing. Ensminger heads in. Layup, good. 4 minutes to go, second half. Durand by 7.
That's 20 points for Ensminger tonight.
Olmsted to Bates. Inside to Hurlbert. Misses a shot. Rebounded by Aiden Fisher. Fisher around the back to save the ball. And that's over to Orion Nichols. To Fisher. Fisher layup. Good! Colfax trails by 5 to Durand-Arkansaw. Up the floor goes to Weber. Weber out to Weisenbeck. Back over to Bates. Opposite side to Olmsted. Olmsted on the corner. Alley-oops it over to Billy Weisenbeck. He tries a three-pointer. Missed. Pulled down by Logan Schwartz. 3 minutes left. Colfax trails Durand by 5. Give and go out to Fisher. Fisher driving right in. And Ethan Hurlbert puts up a paw. But it gets back to Nichols to Yarrington, out to Ensminger. Ensminger top of the key. Ensminger up from 12, doesn't go, rebounded by Ethan Hurlbert. Hurlbert taking it to the other side, bounces it past Olmsted. Colfax gets it back. 2:32 to go, second half. It's Durand-Arkansaw 48, Colfax 43. Vikings bring it up the floor. Ensminger on the right side, bounces it to Fisher. Fisher driving around the screen to Schwartz. Oh, and he misses the layup. Durand will bring it back. Up on top to Seiler. Seiler out to Bates. Back down in the far corner, it goes to Seiler. Hurlbert. Open in the near corner, Blake Seiler. And Durand just going to burn up clock here. Driving in, Weber. Back out to Olmsted. Olmsted fires to Anderson, or Bates, sorry. Back out to Hurlbert. Manages to save it. Minute and a half to go. Durand leads by 5 over Colfax. Olmsted flips it out in the corner to Bates. And we're going to have a foul to break things up here. That's going on Logan Schwartz. That is the 7th foul for the Vikings in the half. Logan's second, 1:18 to go in the ball game. Durand-Arkansaw 48, Colfax 43. First free throw for Bates. As a quiet Jim puts it up. Misses, and trying to get that rebound is Orion Nichols. And it is going to stay with the Vikings. And we have a timeout on the floor. 1:15 to go, second half. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Derry State Bank encourages you to save smarter for your retirement by maximizing possible tax advantages. We offer traditional, Roth, and rollover IRAs with a wide variety of investment options. It's not too late to invest up to $6,500 of possible tax-deferred earnings into an IRA for 2023 tax purposes, or $7,500 if you're 50 or better. Call or stop by for more information. Derry State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
To get your lawn or garden to perform at attracting what you want, you first need to know what your soil is working with. That's where Midwest Environmental Consultants can help. Their soil testing service can give you a complete rundown on your soil's nutrition and health. They test for nitrogen levels, phosphorus, potash, micronutrients, minerals, pH, and organic matter. Let Midwest Environmental Consultants put you in control of your soil's health. Call Midwest Environmental Consultants at 608-468-2067. That's Midwest Environmental Consultants, serving Western Wisconsin.
Durand-Arkansaw 48, Colfax 43, Dunn-St. Croix Conference basketball. The Panthers are the conference leaders, 7-0 coming into this one in the conference. Parker Olmsted's going to throw it inside for Durand, driving in, Hurlburt. Dishes a pass out to Luke Weber, back to Hurlburt. Round outside to Olmsted. Back to Hurlburt. And Orion Nichols fouls him. 1:01 left, second half. Durand-Arkansaw 48. Colfax 43. Colfax boys will play again Tuesday night. They host the Boyceville Bulldogs here. Viking pregame at 6:40, followed by live play-by-play. That's Tuesday night, Colfax and Boyceville, here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2, and Viking TV. First free throw by Hurlburt is good, as is the second, and that makes Durand's lead 7 with a minute to go in the ball game. Ensminger fires it off to Yarrington, top of the key. Three-pointer bounces out big. Trying to get the rebound is Eli Ralph. And ending up, they give it to Durand. Luke Weber puts in the layup on the left side and is fouled. 41.1 seconds remain. That's the fourth foul on Orion Nichols. And Luke Weber's going to get a free throw. 52 for Durand-Arkansaw. 43 for Colfax. Three-point play completed, 10-point lead for the Panthers. Into Ensminger. Ensminger across the timeline. Ensminger drives in, pops it up from 10, good. And a timeout on the floor called by Colfax. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV is excited to once again be your host for Colfax High School girls basketball throughout the 2023 through 2024 season. Our next game will be on Friday, January 26th, when the Vikings will travel to Spring Valley, Wisconsin to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Live coverage on the Northern Light Webcasting Network audio service and on NLWN TV begins with Viking pregame at 6:40 p.m. That's live Colfax Viking girls basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV on Friday, January 26th.
Spring is on its way, and the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV are excited to once again be your home for Colfax High School baseball.
Yeah.
Join us as we follow the Colfax Vikings as they battle their way through the Dunn-St. Croix Conference. We'll carry Viking home games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV.
Welcome back. 28.9 seconds left in the game. Durand-Arkansaw Panthers 53. Colfax Vikings 45. Dunn-St. Croix Conference basketball. The Panthers the leader in the conference. Inbounds throw goes into Hurlburt. Hurlburt out to Seiler. He's fouled.
And that's going to do it for Orion Nichols.
Yep, that is his 5th. And that is the 10th team foul on Colfax this half.
He'll fall out of the game with 2 points.
And
a lot of hustle on defense.
Yep. Blake Seiler's going to get 2 free throws. First shot, good. And he will get another. Makes that. Brady Weber coming in now. Now it looks like I got to use first and last names there. Elijah Ensminger across the timeline. Drives off to the right, pops it out on top. He draws a foul, but that's going to go to the side as it wasn't shooting. He was trying to pass it up to Mason Yarrington, so Blake Johnson's going to throw it in underneath the basket.
That foul was on Luke Weber.
Weber trying to get it into Ensminger. It's knocked out of bounds by Larson, or I should say Johnson was trying to get it in. He'll try it again from the other side. Vikings down by 10, 15 seconds to go. Out to Yarrington. 19-footer. Doesn't go. Ball goes out of bounds off Colfax, or Durand. Brady Weber on the floor with it, so Blake Johnson's going to throw it in again. 10.8 to go. Out on, and the ball stolen away by Ethan Hurlbert. Hurlbert out to Olmsted. Doesn't even go near the basket. They're going to let time expire. Tonight's final, the Colfax Vikings 45, the Durand Panthers 55. Durand now goes up to 8-0 in the conference, and they are 14-2 on this season. Colfax now 3-5 in the DSC and 6-11 on the year. Stay tuned for Viking postgame coming your way next. You're watching Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
You have been tuned to Colfax Viking Boys Basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN2. This copyrighted production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and Colfax High School is intended for the enjoyment of the viewing and listening audience. Any broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction in part or in whole in any form without the express written consent of the Northern Light Webcasting Network LLC and Colfax High School is prohibited. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Postgame with a look back at today's game.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Time now for Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. And now, Viking Postgame.
Well, you'd like to win them all, but this one, the great defensive effort by the Colfax Vikings, falling 10 points short by a score of 55-45. Rick, let's take a look at the scoring.
Yeah, first of all, let's mention that, yes, the Vikings lost this game by 10 points, but that was not the story of the game because this game was much closer than a 10-point game throughout. And it was only at the last end where the Vikings needed to foul people to make that happen. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold off on the scores because it looks like heading up the bleachers towards us right about now is Viking head coach Mark Knoll as he makes his way up.
Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Vikings. And Mark, good effort against the best in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if you can compete at that level, right, and that's what we're striving to do, and our kids are getting closer and closer, and, you know, and like we told them at the end, you're learning something every game. So I asked them, what did they learn? Well, they learned that we got to get transition defense. They were doing a great job of leaking out. They made those long passes. They got an easy 10 to 12 points off of that one skill right there. That's the difference in the game.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and I thought our boys competed well. You know, I think I've been saying, I felt it all along that we have two of the better guards in the conference with Elijah and Aiden, and they proved it again tonight.
Yeah, they did. So, you know, you kept it close. Did the game plan work pretty much as you wanted it to?
For the most part, yes. There was a couple of times where we might have made a mistake on an out of bounds. There's one out of bounds play where we were in the wrong defense and they had a layup on it, and we weren't in the right defense. So that was 2 points that we gave them right there as well. So there's little things, but at the same time, the kids' effort was phenomenal. You know, we had tons of open shots. You know, yes, it might look like we had two guys that did all of our scoring, but other guys had their chances. They just got to put them in. You know, and we had plenty of those chances. But at the same time, I'm very proud of every single one of our players. And they busted their butts. They tried to accomplish what we asked them to do to the T, and they did a good job of all that. And you know, in the first half, we had, I think, a 7-point lead, and we let it slip away. And we forgot how to execute there a little bit. But at the same time, that's what's going to make us better in the long run.
Well, and go ahead, Rick.
You mentioned the hustle and effort by the kids. I want to point out, Orion Nichols had to face off against Ethan Hurlbert. Hurlbert is,
6'6".
somewhere right around 6'6", 6'5", something like that. Orion's 5'10".
Yeah.
And he battled and battled and battled under the basket against Hurlbert. It was very physical, and Orion didn't give an inch to him.
No. And that's where his wrestling background kicked in, right? You know, so Orion,
I was looking for a turnbuckle he could come flying off of.
Yeah,
but
you know, and so we had Orion and we had Theo out there. We had our wrestlers out there, so they did a great job in defense. And like you said, I'm proud of their effort, you know, and Orion's a sophomore. He's learning. He's going against one of the best players in the conference. Could be the MVP of the conference, Hurlbert is. And he's a 6'6" guard. There's not very many of those people out there.
Yeah. So the timing of, you know, the learning of the team and that sort of thing is pretty good because this is the first game of the second half of the rest of the conference. So you'll get to see everybody else again except Durand-Arkansaw.
First time we played and we lost, I think it was 55-32. We scored 32 points. Elijah and Aiden combined for, I think, 5 or 6 points, somewhere in that range. So I think you saw how much improvement there was tonight. You know, they could have scored 70 on us that first game. And so I think we showed that we're coming. We executed well against their zone that they were playing early. They had to get out of zone and play man. You know, and then they had to deny Aiden, which, you know, we'll learn from that. We'll learn from that experience.
Okay. Mark, thanks for coming up and talking with us. And again, congratulations on the effort and learning that your team's coming up with.
I appreciate you guys being here again, like always. Thanks for coming and taking care of this for the community. Thank you.
Mark Knoll, head coach of the Colfax Vikings. And we will be back with the scoring right after this on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN 2.
In November of 2018, our daughter Jana passed away. The outpouring of support was unbelievable. Support that we received inspired us to start a foundation called the Jana Kelly Memorial Foundation. And through that foundation,
we've given back in a lot of different ways, through projects, through different other charities that we've supported. We like to help Humane Association, and the Ronald McDonald House is something that's very near and dear to us. We've also recently, this last year, we actually built a tiny house. It's really exciting to be able to give back in different ways.
To learn more or to help financially, find us on Facebook or www.janakelly.com.
Durand-Arkansaw 55, Colfax 45. Rick, details.
Well, here they are. Let's take a look at Durand-Arkansaw first. Their leading scorer tonight was Dane Bates. He put in 15 points, but in the second half he was held to only 5. He was followed by Ethan Hurlbert and Max Anderson. Both of them scored 11. Hurlbert did manage to get 8 points in the second half, whereas Anderson only got 2. So the Vikings did a pretty good job. Hurlbert kind of made his money in the second half. Then they had 3 players each hitting 5 points. That was Blake Seiler, Luke Weber, and Grady Hayden. And Parker Olmstead had 3 points, and I'm looking for my Durand-Arkansaw information sheet here. And, oh well, I believe Olmstead is their leading scorer, and they held him down to 3 points. No, that's Colfax. But
Hurlbert at 15.8 a game, Olmstead 13.
Okay, so 13 points a game, and the Vikings held him to 3. It's a good defensive night for the Vikings.
Sure is.
So for the Vikings tonight, they were led in scoring by Elijah Ensminger, who put up 22 points tonight. And he was followed closely by Aiden Fisher, who added 17 more. From the free throw line, the Vikings went, let's see here, 6 for 8 from the charity stripe. Then we also had Orion Nichols with 2, Blake Johnson with 2, and Eli Ralph with 2. That comes out to a final score of 55-45 in favor of the Durand-Arkansaw Panthers.
Next game for the boys, Tuesday, back here at Colfax. They host the Bulldogs of Boyceville, and that is Tuesday night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network, NLWN2 and Viking TV. Tomorrow night, we'll have the Viking girls at Spring Valley to face the Cardinals. Both of those have live coverage beginning with Viking pregame at 6:40, following with the play-by-play, and Colfax girls tomorrow night on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN TV. For our camera operator, Chris Olson, and executive producer, Rick Olson, I'm Jay Fall. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a good night.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking Boys game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.